Hey Bells, I've been wanting to make this story time for a long time. I wanted to do a cute little setup, all the bells and whistles with my camera setup and all that, because I'm sure you can tell that I'm on my phone right now. But to me, he doesn't even deserve that. He doesn't deserve for me to get all cute. He doesn't deserve for me to do, spiraling my hair, do my makeup, beat it to the gods, you know what I'm saying, and sit here and tell the story. Like, I don't know. I just don't even, I don't. Today has been an irritating day because I was supposed to edit the story time that I did about this topic, and I deleted it. I deleted the whole thing from my camera. As you guys know, my camera broke. Mimi broke my camera, and then I got Candy 2.0 yesterday. And yesterday was when I was supposed to edit it, and that's why there was no vlog up yesterday. And I don't know, like, I got my memory card, I flipped it over, and I put it in the new one, and I went to download everything to my phone because I can do that with my camera through an app, and it just did, I don't know, y'all, like, I almost did not do the story time, and I don't even know if this is actually gonna go up. That's why I didn't really want to sit down and do all that with my camera, set up the lights and all that, because this is like, this topic just hurts me, guys. It really hurts me. Like, I might not look like a lot of things bother me, a lot of things hurt me, but some things are just so deep, I feel like. So let me start from, I guess, the beginning. I was born May 25th, 1991, to my mom and my father, my sperm donor, my biological father, in Philadelphia. Well, I was born in Norristown, Pennsylvania, which is like right by Philly. If you're from the Philly area, you know where Norristown is. And we lived in Philly, we lived in Norristown, all that stuff. My dad's from Philly, my mom's from Philly, and that's how they met. And my mom had me when she was 19. She got pregnant when she was 18, had me at 19. My dad was 20. He's like a year older than my mom. And I really don't even know where to start, y'all. Like, I was just born, and I was there. My mom loved me. My mom took care of me. She said that my dad was there. He was a great dad all the way up until I was about like 2, and then he started to fall off. My sister, his next daughter, she was born, and by that time he had already like fell off as a dad. And mom said that he came and took my car seat back. He bought me a car seat, which he didn't buy me a lot of things, but he bought me a car seat, and he took my car seat back and he gave it to my sister. Now, of course, growing up, like, I never, ever, ever, and I love them to death. Like, all his kids I love to death. They're my siblings, love them to death. And I never, ever, 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 I don't even know if my sister knows this, that he did that, but I never, ever, ever, ever held anything against them. My whole issue is with him, and it's just because it's like, how are you not a dad? Like, there's just so many things that, like, let me not even get off topic. Let me go back. Okay, so that was when I was around 2, and then by the time I was like 3, my mom got fed up, and my mom left Philly. We went to Texas. We went to live with my aunt. Rest in peace to my aunt, my beautiful aunt. And we stayed with them, Texas, lived in Texas. And my mom met my stepdad. My mom met my stepdad when I was about 3. And yeah, I didn't really see my dad that much. Like, I really didn't. We went back from my mom, my stepdad got into it. I think we went back to Philly and all that. And I was around my dad here and there. But he just wasn't in my life, guys. Like, my father really wasn't in my life. He really wasn't too worried about me. Like, he would always call my mom and call to talk to her, call to tell her he loved her and that he wanted to be with her and all this stuff. But knowing my mom's in another relationship, but he would never, ever really try to be like, I want my daughter, I want her, try to fight for custody for me, nothing, like, literally nothing. And then when my mom got married to my dad, my stepdad, I call my stepdad dad, so if y'all get confused, that's what I call my stepdad, because my stepdad has been there for me since I was 3. Like, he is basically my father. Like, he is my, if I could pick a father, he is my father. And so they got married when I was 6, and my stepdad, he joined the Air Force and we started moving around, all that stuff. Didn't really hear from my dad. He would call sometimes. I'd talk to him for a second. That was really it. Missed birthdays, missed Christmases, missed everything, missed all my first everythings. Like, just missed everything. Like, when I look at Mimi, like, when I had her, I was so emotional because when I look at her, I can't think of my life without her. So I don't understand when I see like deadbeat dads and I see men who choose not to be in their kids' lives. I don't understand that, because when I look at her, I'm like, this beautiful little girl, how could I not want to be in her life? How could I not want to see her first step, her first talk, her first sentence, her first boyfriend? Like, as a little girl, first things that they go through, they need a father, they need a mother. It's just like, and that's why people, they grow up with issues and problems in life and problems within their marriage, within their, having boyfriends. Some girls end up turning into hoes. Some girls end up doing other crazy things because their dads were not in their lives. And I was just blessed to have my stepdad. And like, I'll tell y'all the story about my stepdad. So when they got married, I was 6, moved around. By the time I was 8, my mom had, was talking to my dad or whatever, my real dad, in Philly, and they somehow came to agreement that he would sign off his rights to me. So we went, and I remember, because I remember a lot of things, y'all. I remember a lot of things when I was 2. I remember a lot of things when I was 3, which is crazy because you really shouldn't remember things like that. But I remember because it was traumatic in my life. So I remember all these things. I remember my grandmother. Last time I saw my grandmother, which is my real dad's mom, I was like 3. And I remember her singing to me. I remember her smell. I remember everything. Like, my grandmother loved me. And I remember everything about her. And she died when I was like 8. I think way before he signed off rights to me. She died. He signed my name wrong on her obituary. He didn't tell me that she died because he didn't really call. So I didn't know. And the only reason we knew that my name was spelled wrong was because my mom asked him to send an obituary, because I loved my grandmother. Like, that was, like, she was my everything. So fast forward to when we went home, and I remember I was at his house, my grandmother's house, and I was sitting on his lap. He was watching football, and he was talking to me, and he was like, ooh, the game, blah, blah, blah. And we were just talking, like, everything was cool. I didn't know at the time what was happening. And that day he signed off his rights to me. Like, my mom brought him the paper and he signed his rights to me. So from when I was 8 to 18, I did not see my dad. I did not talk to my dad. He wasn't my dad. He signed off his rights to me. He wasn't my dad, period. So my stepdad basically adopted me. He, after my biological dad signed off his rights to me, my stepdad, we went to the court and everything, and he signed his name and everything, and my birth certificate has my stepdad's name on it now, because he signed some paper that basically states that I'm his daughter. So that's why I call him my dad. That's why he basically is my dad. He is my dad. Not even basically, he is my dad. Because he did that, and he didn't have to do that. Like, do you know how many step parents you have out there who don't really care for the shoot, Cinderella, okay? I know that's a weird thing to bring up, but that's like the biggest story I could think of right now. But Cinderella, evil stepmother, all that stuff. Like, my dad loved me, and he still loves me, like I'm his own. And I just appreciate him so much. Like, y'all don't even understand. He probably doesn't even know, like, half the, like, because I don't voice this, I don't talk about this, but if it wasn't for him, I don't even know where I would be, or what I would be doing, or like, my mom would have to raise me as a single parent. I would have grown up without a dad. Like, I at least had a father figure because my dad was there in my life. And I know a lot of people who would not do that at all, who just wouldn't care. Like, who cares about a little girl, like, who's not yours? Shoot, men out here don't even care about the kids that are theirs. I mean, clearly. But I said I wasn't gonna cry in this video. That's why I had to delete the other one. So my last name changed when I was like 8 or 9-ish. Changed because I wanted it to change, not because they wanted it to. My dad wanted it too, but I asked. My mom never told me to call my stepdad dad. I asked him if I could call him dad, and I was like, what? I was like 6 when I asked him that. Like, I asked my mom, I said, can I call him dad? And she was like, ask him. So I asked him, he said yes, and I've been calling him dad since then. And so when I changed my name, I asked because I would go to school. Well, I would see my mom sign, because my mom got married at this point. I would see her sign her name, Belton. Then my mom had my little sister, and her last name is Belton. Then I knew my dad's last name is Belton, and I'm like, why is my last name Stokes? So I would go to school and I would change it, and the teachers would be like, you can't change, you can't change, you can't change, that's your last name, blah blah blah. So my dad went and he was like, I want you to have my last name, and he did all the things necessary to do that, and then I was able to be Marsai Belton instead of Marsai Stokes. Fast forward to when I was 17. I was dumb, I was stupid, I was young, getting into it with my parents, as all teenagers do. And I ended up moving out when I was 17. I moved in with Uriah and his sister, which I love to death. And I'm so blessed to have her, because, again, I don't know where I would be. I would have still left. I'm stubborn. I'm so stubborn. Like, if I didn't have his sister and Uriah there, I would have left. And who knows where I would be, like, at this point. Like, I swear I have a guardian angel, because I have people in my life who guided me and was there for me at my lowest times. So I moved in with his sister, and I was mad at my mom. Mom's like, oh, I'm not coming to your graduation. You moved out, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, well, I don't have anybody. You know what I mean? Like, my parents aren't coming to my graduation. I don't have anybody. So my biological father, he has a twin. I reached out to her through the internet because she went to school online, found her. I asked them to come. They came. It hurt my parents. It hurt my mom really bad. My dad, I know it hurt, but he never said anything to me. My mom's like me, so she's going to voice like, no, sweetie. So I feel really bad about that. That was something that I should never have done to this day, because it didn't prove anything. It didn't do anything for me. I thought I was going to get this whole, like, woosah moment, sit down with him, talk, and him, you know, cry for him to explain what he did wrong, why he did it. To this day, he really doesn't. I really don't have the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have bits and pieces of story, but I don't understand. Like, I would talk to him sometimes. I would text him, and we would try to have a conversation and try to build a relationship from when I was 18 to about when I had Mimi, when I got pregnant with Mimi. But once I had her and I looked at her, it just brought me back, y'all. It backtracked. And I know he probably feels like, you never reach out to me, you never talk to me, you never do this and that. But I forgave him a long time ago. But the hurt is still there, and it's just really the hurt. Like, for someone to blatantly do something to somebody, something deep like that to your child, you're supposed to always be there for your child. You're supposed to always love your child. You're supposed to guide your child. You're supposed to protect your child. I feel like he just wasn't there. What if something happened to me? What if my mom wasn't raising me right? What if, like, you were supposed to be the other balance, the other side to me, and you weren't there? It just hurts a lot, guys. But I wanted to do this story time and let you guys in on something that was, it just hurts me. That's really it. This is basically just story time about how I had a deadbeat dad. Still basically do, but it is what it is. And I have the best dad in the world now that was my angel from when I was little to now. And I'm just so blessed that my life turned out the way it did. My life was not affected by it. But I do want to say, if there's any young men that are watching this, don't have kids. Don't lay down with someone if you're not ready for the responsibility of a child. Do not just throw your child off on someone else. Do not just throw your child to the side and be like, oh, they're too young. They won't understand. They won't know. I'm telling you, I'm living proof that you'll know. You'll remember stuff from back when you're little. You'll remember all those things of how your dad wasn't there for you and everything. Like, it affects especially women. It affects men too, because men need a stable father figure, but it really affects girls. Like, but you've heard of being a daddy's girl and all that stuff. Like, it really affects little girls. And I mean, this is just basically a message, and I just wanted to share something that happened to me. Some people might say, you know, you never know the situation, blah, 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 blase, blase. To me, there's no situation. Just don't have kids. And just don't, like, how can you not be there their whole life and then just sign them off like they're trash, like there's nothing, like you're just basically selling them to someone, or you're just trying to get them to get away from you, and or you just don't want the responsibility. Like, just don't have kids, like, period. There can't possibly be a reason to me, and then to this day you can't tell me the reason, so there's not a reason. Like, it is what it is, basically. I'm trying to get past it, and I just don't talk about it, but I do need to talk about it more. So I'm blessed to have YouTube and story time with y'all. I think like the last story time I did was like 8 months ago or something, but I fell off of the story time train because there was like so many people doing it. But I would definitely do more story times because I feel like it's therapeutic for me. But if you guys want more story times, maybe not a sad story time, let me know. There's really nothing. That's really the end of my story because there's really nothing else. Like, he signed all rights to me. We tried to have a relationship when he came when I was graduating. Didn't really work out after I had Mimi. I was like, I can't really mess with this dude. And it is what it is. But I love y'all. So I'll talk to y'all another day.